Today on Behind the Strength, I'm joined by advocate Mrunalini Deshmukh, a powerhouse in the world of family and matrimonial law. With over 2 decades of experience, she's someone who brings both empathy and legal insight into the world and deep conversation of divorce, emotional abuse, and women's rights. Welcome to Behind the Strength, Mrunalini.
Thank you. Thank you for having me over.
Mrunalini, what drew you to the emotionally, charged world of family and matrimonial law?
So it sounds a little strange, but then this was by default, if I may put it in that manner. I was practicing in the High Court, doing basically all these corporate and property matters and service matters, constitutional matters. I had to take a break because I was expecting my son, and then I had to take a break for nearly 15 years. So I have a son and a daughter, and I dedicated myself completely to that after practicing for 2-3 years prior to that. Now, after a long gap of so much, it was just by stroke of luck that we moved from where we were to Bandra. And when my kids started going to a regular school, so say like 8 o'clock till 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I realized that I'm just wasting my time and I should get into something. Now going back to the High Court was quite an ordeal from Bandra, and I said I can't do this. Fortunately, the family court was close by, and I said why don't I try and venture out something which is absolutely a raw area for me, but could be an option that I could sort of opt for. I went there and I had no senior, I had no chamber to be with. Just went from one court to the other, just trying to understand some things, not understanding some things, facts, etc., procedures. And then that slowly, that's how I got into it. And that's where I started my career. So the reason to take such an emotionally challenging, I would say, and a very intense kind of a law which is there. It's a law at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But it's a law which deals with human beings. It deals with children. It deals with the emotions of the husband and wife. It deals with, at times, with the assets where there are claims being made.
Right.
Needs a little bit of sensitivity and empathy while dealing with it. At the same time, having the professionalism, because it's a law and it has to be done within the parameters of law. So that kind of a thing got developed within me over a period of time, to be very honest. Because that was not something that came overnight.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's been organic because it's not something which you study. It is more out of the experience
yes, and experience and what you go through and what you realize, where do I have to be very strict professional, where do I have to have some kind of an empathy, where do I have to strike that balance so that I'm able to deal with it in a very holistic manner.
Right. So, of course, spanning your entire career, it's been so illustrious.
Thank you.
What was the turning point or the milestone that you in your legal journey, looking back, that you had achieved, or which gave you that sense of satisfaction that, this is, where I have now, I feel that I am here, that this is something.
So I'll answer your question in two ways.
Sure.
Number one, there have been a lot of challenging matters. Absolutely. And the spectrum of my work is where I do a lot of cross-border issues, like, a child is born in US and the child is brought back to India. There's a law or a court order there, there's a law order here. What are the laws? What is the jurisdiction? So these are known as cross-border issues from one. I've done a lot of cases which dealt with the Muslim women and their rights, like so some things which are there. So these have been the cases which were quite challenging. These were the cases where I learned a lot besides practicing that, because that's something you need to study and read the case laws, etc. And these are some things which gave me an insight into what the real world is and what the problems are. But to be honest, and to answer the second part of the thing, was my cases, where a few of them came from the Bollywood, is the one that got me a little more into prominence.
Absolutely. It's because of the limelight that is...
Yes, which is surrounded with the Bollywood.
Natural.
So that's the way it was.
So, coming to Bollywood, how do you maintain the dignity and the discretion, especially in high-profile cases? Because it's all over the place with the media.
absolutely.
So
I think that's where probably a seasoned person matters, where the idea is not to expose it further,
right.
or to make it into a very loud kind of a situation. As it is, anything happens today with social media, Priya, I'm telling you, even if you sneeze, it's on the social media.
Absolutely,
So
yes.
these are the very, very particular thing. So there are speculations, there are going to be discussions, and there are going to be talks about it. So all the more reason to ensure that the privacy of the parties, actually the privacy of all parties has to be maintained. So I'm not going to sort of, segregate between people who are high profile or people who are normal people like you and me. I'm trying to say that this is all the more to take care of their privacy, and has to be done in a case where there is no dirt, there are no allegations, two good people in a not so good marriage parting. These are the ways, or rather terms and conditions on which we are. So these are the things that as a lawyer you have to advise them, maneuver them towards that. But in my case, I've seen most of the cases that they had also sorted out a few of their problems. They were also matured enough, probably their profiles and their people, the family which was advising, that there's no point, whatever your hatred is there, you have vengeance, sometimes you have negativity. It's no point. It's a waste of an emotion.
Absolutely.
Might as well think about it with a rational hat on your head.
Precisely.
And take advice of a good counsel, a good lawyer. So in my profession, Priya, just to deviate a little bit, one has to be a little bit of a shrink also, not only a lawyer.
Absolutely.
So you need to first understand the basic psyche. I don't claim to be qualified as a psychologist or a counselor, but the experience has taught me some things. And I have realized that you need to first calm down the people. Just let them breathe. To put in simple words,
they're venting and you as a sounding board.
Yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
Right.
But not always that one has to go down the path of destruction.
Right.
I am one person who says that, listen, you cannot get joy and peace by destroying the other person, however badly you may have been affected. That's not a solution.
Right.
The solution is peace. Sounds very difficult in such kind of matter. That how can you have peace? Yes, you can have peace. You can only have peace if you are a little calmer, keep whatever has happened in the past, and move ahead, because tomorrow, as they say, is a brighter day.
Absolutely.
And if you want to look at that, then you have to give up some things which are there. So that balance which has to be struck between the negative emotions or the negativity which surrounds this, and to show them a path that this can be resolved, but not by fighting, not by going and what are you going to get? You're just going to get that 1 minute high. Okay, I'm going to go to the press and I'm going to give. What is going to 1 minute? I said, do you remember what happened 2 days back in the press? You don't remember.
Right.
So why? And especially if there are children, you have to be more sensitive.
Yes.
You have to be more responsible. And you have to have that thing that whatever is my personal thing, my kids are to be kept away from the blaze of all this.
Absolutely, because they are the ones that bear the brunt of it, not of course in the media directly, probably
over
yes,
a period of time also.
but over a period of time for their emotional development, mental development, I think it's a very sensitive.
And that is where we have to be more practical and more pragmatic.
Absolutely.
And that's where a role of a lawyer is what he is or she is, coming from the experience, the futility of a litigation, to explain to them that, listen guys, it sounds very class, okay, I'm going to fight, I'm going to go to court, I'm going to do that. Ask me, I go there every day. It's a absolute futile exercise. Absolutely. You can do that just the way you and me are sitting across the table.
Right.
And chatting and discussing and talking. These are the points we agree. Fantastic, keep them aside. These are the points we disagree. Let's see what you can give, what I can give.
Yes.
Yeah,
like isolating emotion from the practical side of it.
With extreme sensitivity to the emotions.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying, why are you reacting? Why are you hyperventilating? Why are you being so hysterical? No, you are being, because that's what you've gone through. I do understand, I do respect, and I do understand. But is that a solution?
That's right. You're right.
That's not a solution.
It's not, because it's not going to lead anyone anywhere. As you said, it's a 1 minute high and that's about it.
Absolutely.
What are the unique pressures, when you're representing these public figures? How do you navigate the pressures, as you said, about media? You spoke about these sensitive issues, How do you navigate that while not compromising justice?
So as far as the media is concerned, I have a standard comment, no comments.
Right.
That's the statement I make. Number two, nowadays I've seen a trend, nowadays I'm talking the last 5 years or 10 years, where the people from the media, are like let's say people from Bollywood or whichever high profile backgrounds, we recommend that they give a joint statement to the media so that there's no speculation. Mm-hmm. So I would say the couple which are separating, and whether they may have a lot of things against each other, but I want to put them, I would prefer they go before the media, make a joint statement that we are parting gracefully, and both of us will be responsible for the children, and we really wish each other good luck. And it's not that we are parting forever, we are always going to be there for each other in the event there are kids who need some issues and so on. So I think this kind of a statement puts an end to the lot of speculation that goes on. Yes. So one media house is going to say A, the other media house is going to say this, and then that is where they get embroiled. Right. And there are some people who are not even connected with the case who are going to go and give opinions and views about it.
Which happens a lot.
A lot.
Unnecessary opinions which come from everywhere.
Yes.
And then you've got the trolls on the internet.
Yes.
But having said that, have you seen a difference in the way, say, a celebrity couple would handle the sensitivity of a divorce versus your, the normal couple, who's not, of course, right in the limelight?
So to answer your question, nowadays even a lot of other couples who are not belonging to this fraternity do want it in a graceful manner. Okay. Because maybe their friends have gone through, some relatives have gone through, right, and they've seen, what a waste of time, waste of emotions, what is all this tamasha about? At the end of the day, yeah, two people can't be together and they have to be separated. It could be a case of an adulterous relationship on the part of one of the spouses. It could be physical or domestic violence which is there. So they have realized that whatever we have been, unless there are extreme cases and people do want to go to court, suppose there's domestic violence, then the woman does not want to compromise on her dignity, and why should she?
Absolutely.
I'm completely with her. Right. You have to take it to its logical end. Right. But certain cases which are not to that extreme extent, but deal with extreme incompatibility, leading to kind of temperamental differences and leading to constant bickerings and fights, it's better that you sit down and part. Absolutely. And discuss what you want and part gracefully rather than going to the courts.
It does maintain the dignity and the sanctity of whatever the relation has been so far.
Absolutely.
What are the biggest myths people still have about women's rights regarding, when it comes to a divorce, on divorce proceedings? How has there been any myth that has just been a myth so far on the women's rights?
So as far as women's rights are concerned, I'll take a minute more.
Sure.
Women's rights have developed over a period of time thanks to the changes that have been brought about by the law and the legislation. The courts have realized over a period of time that to have equality, which is what is enshrined in the Constitution, to be a little more meaningful and effective in today's times, the status of the man and the woman has to be on a more or less equal footing.
Right.
Only then can you decide and take the option of equality. To bring about that status, there has to be an enhancement of the status of the woman.
Correct.
Where the man is here and the woman is here. You have to raise that. And to be able to raise that, the legislation has empowered the women with different laws.
Right.
But the reality, and this is good, there are laws for the women, there are more laws for the women, or there are some exclusive laws for the women and children, as they call it, which is good and which is the need of the hour. The sad part of it at times is that the volume is so enormous, yes, that by the time you really go, do you really get that justice that you are looking at by going through courts?
True.
Number two, I have seen in my experience in some of the cases, and which is very disheartening, me being a person who believes that women should get their rights, the abuse of the law by some certain sections of the women.
Precisely.
And the abuse is, can I tell you something, Priya? The abuse is by the haves, not the have-nots.
I know that.
It are the have-nots are the ones, maybe your driver's wife, maybe the maid who works in your, or the domestic help who works in mine. These are the women who have no time to go through all this. They just want to work, they want to earn their bread, they want to sort of educate their children,
right,
and they don't want to go down that thing.
Precisely.
If they can get something from the court, from the husband, they're well and good. Otherwise, they say, if I'm working in 2 places, I'll work at 3 places. I'll educate my child. This is the belief that they have. This is the strength that these women have. And this is what the law is all about. I'm not about taking rubbish from the husband or letting him get away scot-free. I'm about believing in yourself, standing on your own feet and doing this. But what do we find in some of the cases which are the haves, as we call it? File false cases, rope in in-laws, rope in some sister-in-law who must have just visited you in the last 5 years because she lives in US for a month or so, and just rope them all and file criminal cases against them. In fact, now the Supreme Court has taken cognizance of it, that because there is an increase in the number of false criminal cases and criminal complaints by disgruntled women, which are not based on genuine concerns, but with a view for whatever they may have a motive. The police is asked not to take any action, investigate the matter, take the statements, try and see if they can act and bring about the parties together or make them separate. So there is a counseling cell in the police department itself, which is to be dealing with these kind of matters. And they first try and sort it out.
Matrimonial cases?
Yes, absolutely. And they try and sort it out and see if they can do it, because once summons are issued from the police, normally a person would say, police has sent me summons or police has sent me a notice, I have to go. So there's a little calming effect that has, and they say that we are not going to do anything, we are not going to terrorize you, we are not going to arrest you, we are not going to do anything. But we want you, this woman is crying, you're not giving her food or whatever the case may be, and you're not giving her money, you're not paying the school fees of the children, but you're having alcohol, and I'm talking about the law. You better start doing these things, otherwise we may have to arrest you. So that becomes a kind of a thing for them also.
Right.
So ultimately everything doesn't have to go through its logical end to the court.
Absolutely.
So that is where at every stage, mediation, discussions, counseling is the backbone of any litigation.
Absolutely. But having said that, as a genuine query, there are many, as you said, haves and have-nots, but out of the haves also, now there are many women who are actually scared to approach legal help for being shown in the bad light, even though they are facing something. Like, because they feel that nobody will take them seriously because they come from privilege. So it is actually a double-edged sword even for that. How do you how do you filter that out? I mean,
so the question is, you are absolutely right. That is a concern of genuine women.
Yes.
Or genuine cases where
Right.
women come from a privileged background.
Right.
But they feel that, listen, I'm going to be looked upon as a gold digger, or I'm going to be looked upon as a person who is just misusing the law.
Right.
So when I'm making that statement, what I'm trying to say is that the rights of the women are enshrined in our laws.
Right.
The use of the laws are for the benefit of all sections of women.
Right.
What I mean by the abuse, and it's not all the women, but some women who are from the haves are going and filing cases not for any other reason, but just either to get a better deal,
Yeah.
or in some cases deep vengeance. So therefore which there is no answer.
Absolutely.
So we are talking about that section. It does not mean that it's a blanket statement about all the women who come from the privileged background,
Right.
who are sort of misusing the law.
Has it ever been where you have had to, kind of filter out this? I mean, of course, your experience is going to tell you. I think that's your number one, sign for, understanding where the people stand, in their cases. Has it ever been that you've had to deal with something like this? I'm sure.
Yes, of course.
I'm certain.
And
yes.
I am the person who would never ever advise any woman, whether privileged or otherwise, to abuse the law or misuse the law. Because you know what you're doing by doing this, you're just making a statement that women are abusing law.
Right.
क्यों चाहिए? क्यों चाहिए or women's rights? Why do you want all these things?
Precisely.
Because these are the false cases, etc. We don't want to be a part of that jig bang. We want to be a part of it which are genuine cases, and we want to be a part of it where these issues can be resolved, if possible, in an amicable manner, if possible by mediations and counseling, if possible by discussion. If not, we go to the court.
Absolutely.
But that is the next thing that we have to do, not the first thing.
Recently also there was, a case, it was of course an extreme case which had come up. It was about the murder and the honeymoon murder.
Yes, so many of them, yeah.
It was, this was quite, so what, that kind of led to generalization, memes on the internet, everything that we are getting our insurance done, we're doing this before the honeymoon, the husband. And I think it struck me that women have been facing this for a very long while, but there was no meme made on that.
Correct, you are absolutely right.
And there's been this one isolated, I'm not saying it's isolated, but one
of the few, yes.
One of the few incidences which has come straight out of nowhere, and suddenly every woman getting married is now a meme. Or it has now become, the detectives are behind, this is that is happening. It's not something which is new to a woman.
So it is new to the society that a woman is doing that.
Yes.
Okay? It is not new to a woman, it is not new to a man also. It is new to the society. Hey, that's how the lady is doing. This is something which was considered to be a male. Nobody justified.
Yes,
but
course,
that you push her in the river or whatever things which were there for whatever reasons are there. I'm not in any way justifying what the women have done is what they have done.
Yes.
But we have to understand one thing, that there are some sections of the society where there is immense pressure on the girls to get married.
That's right.
And for them, for the families and for the parents, it's be all and all,
Yeah.
You've got married, you have to do that, you can't be not getting married. And not acknowledging what her likes, dislikes are, or whether she has anybody in life. But that doesn't mean you kind of kill someone.
It's an extreme step. It's unimaginable.
I'm saying today, if you get married, if you're unhappy, you have courts, you have police. If there's torture, then you have other means of doing it. Why would you want to do this? And why would you want to kill someone? But I think again, this is something psychological. Maybe when you speak to a psychologist, you'll come to know.
Yes.
This is that extreme rage, that extreme rebellious thing, that streak that comes to you. Where however educated you are, there's no reason that you can say.
Precisely. So isn't it, that as a society, as I said, isn't it our responsibility to see these incidences as isolated to that human, not making it a gender bias?
Absolutely.
Rather than make memes of it because it has never happened.
Yes, but at the same time, when you see these cases where women abuse law, okay? Let us say 10-20% of the women abuse law. They're not looking at the cases where 80% are really going through all the rubbish.
Absolutely.
All the violence, all the things which are there. You guys are only highlighting the 20% who are misusing the law or abusing the law.
Right.
So I think the perception that the public which gets from these medias, social media, etc., the public should be made aware that that's not the reality, and not dwell upon it and make memes or whatever their cases may be.
Yes,
that is why they need to come to court.
Sanctity to whatever's happened, the dignity to the families, and that's it. We just need to let it rest where it's at.
Absolutely. And I also believe in one more thing, that whilst you are doing such kind of situation, you have to be aware of the fact, especially I'm talking about the social media, that you go and take interviews of any Tom, Dick and Harry on these issues which the person doesn't know. आपको क्या लगता है इसके बारे में? What do you mean आपको क्या लगता है? It's a wrong thing. If a lady has killed a husband on her honeymoon, उसमें लगने वाली क्या बात है? It's obviously abhorrible. She has to be punished.
Yes.
So this kind of stupidity that is going around, and people are also, हाँ हमको ये लगता है. Who are you to opine?
Absolutely.
I can understand the father, the immediate family members, because they are the affected ones. But today, any Tom, Dick and Harry is interviewed and the views are shown. Oh, how sad, this thing's like. This is the whole narrative which the media is giving. I'm very unhappy with it.
Absolutely. It's become very shallow, the entire concept of... I think marriage, the concept right now, because of all this which is surrounding it, has become shallow. The basic institution still holds
People
very
are
strongly.
asking me, is it going to be a redundant institution? I said, I don't want to make any statements at this point of time. But the kind of number of divorces that are happening, and second divorce, third divorce, not only just one divorce and done. is something which is alarming.
It is. Emotional abuse, we're talking about all the physical abuse that we see visible, but emotional abuse is never visible. So how do you help women prove their pain in an emotional abuse setup?
That's a challenge we face, to be very honest. That's a major challenge that we face. But at the same time, the courts are also to some extent aware of the abuse that a woman is going through. May not be the depth or the intensity, but to a large extent. But yes, that's something, because that is something that, what woman goes through, she goes through.
Absolutely.
She can express it, or somebody who's a friend, who's a mother, who's a sister, etc., may relate to that, may understand that. But a third person, it's difficult for him or her to relate to that. And that to a judge who's completely different, who's not even in your circle of friends and family or something, and who's hearing, because for him it's A versus B.
Precisely.
So I empathize with A because she's gone through all this, but too so much. I can only do, I have my law and I have to go by that.
There is something like narcissistic abuse,
of course,
gaslighting.
Absolutely. These are so common.
Which is very common.
Which is not only common, but which is now being surfacing. And people are, I won't say people, partners in relationships are accepting that this is, am I a victim of a partner, from a partner who is a narcissistic person, who has a narcissistic personality disorder?
Precisely.
Am I just suffering this gaslighting that he's doing, just saying, it's okay, let him say, it doesn't matter to me. You are emboldening him.
Absolutely.
And that's where you have to put down your foot.
Where does the law stand for that?
So that comes under mental cruelty, it comes under emotional violence, under the Domestic Violence Act, and that's one of the grounds for divorce. And under the emotional violence under the Domestic Violence Act, it comes for monetary compensation for that.
Absolutely, because this is something which kind of, I think it strips the woman away of a lot of confidence, a lot of stability, and basic handling of herself, having a sense of identity.
Absolutely.
Which is very compromising to her self-worth. And eventually, if she can't earn her living, then it's very difficult.
So that's a very good point you brought up, Priya. And I think this is one thing that I want to use your channel to be able to express. First thing that every woman, before she enters a marriage, has to ensure that she's basically financially secure.
Absolutely.
Her earnings, it all depends on the strata of society. It does not matter how much, whether you're lakhs or crores or you have billions in your account. But some basic, so in the event you are ever subjected to this, you don't have to look back even once, am I going to get something on my plate tomorrow or not?
Right.
So it is very imperative, and I cannot emphasize how imperative it is. I'm not saying that the husband should be let, they should go scot-free or they should not be chased. They can do what you can do that as a step 2. But as a step 1, to uphold your own dignity and your status and your self-respect, this is something that if you are really subjected to this day in and day out, and it's really, really reached a point of no return, have that confidence to leave.
Absolutely.
And go for the process of court, but be little financially stable to be taking care of yourself.
Especially when there's a child involved.
Yes. Guide even yourself for that matter. I'm saying as a woman also.
Absolutely, yes. What's your advice to women? It's not easy. There are two ways to look at it. I feel a man has a lot of societal imagery to follow, with that I'm not going to get divorced, it's perfect, life is perfect, this is good. A woman fears a lot of societal pressure, backlash from society, in many ways, friends, family, when it comes to approaching divorce, even though sometimes it is required. How do you deal with something like that?
So, dealing with the mindset of people around, as far as a woman is concerned when she goes for a divorce, at least in urban areas or urban metros, the approach has changed a lot.
Right.
It is no longer looked upon as some kind of a taboo or some kind of a stuff that is happening and what will happen to her.
Right.
It's not the end of the life for her.
Absolutely, yes.
So that thought process is slowly permeating in this society, but I cannot say that about the tier 3, tier 4 cities or towns. There probably these are the issues that are quite prevalent where the women are facing.
Right.
And they do look at it as if it's a stigma.
it is very rampant still in a woman's mind. I think in some urban areas as well, that there is a single woman,
Yeah.
divorcee.
Yeah.
These
yeah,
are not the titles you really
Yeah.
hear for a man who has just recently been through divorce. He'll never be a single man. He'll just be a man. He won't be a divorcee. He'll just be a man. You know, these titles.
You're right. You're so right.
These titles are
Titles
just
are something.
kept,
Yeah.
you know, I think they're very subjective, or rather very gender-based, and it's very strong.
Yeah, like they say, when it comes to man, it's a single, ready to mingle.
Yes,
It is
absolutely.
it's such a frequently used
Yes.
thing, you know. So he is ready to mingle, but if it comes to a woman, she's ready to mingle
Already?
is something,
Yes.
so soon, so early.
Character
These are the questions,
assassinations.
bilkul.
So yeah, so these are the things which are so rampant, and these are the things which keep women back in a very sore situation.
But for that, you need to have a change in the social setup and the mindset. This cannot be done by the law, or it cannot be
tough.
done by anything. And I'm saying, why is the social media not using their media to get these kind of things done?
Yes.
What you are eating, you take pictures. What you
Right.
are, you're going for a holiday, you take pictures and you put it
Right.
on Instagram. Why not take up these issues and create awareness?
Precisely.
You are widely watched. Suppose it's somebody's on Instagram. Have these reels where people are talking about what is the importance, the way to treat a woman who is unfortunately in a situation where either she's lost her husband, or whether she has been divorced, or whatever,
Right.
abandoned, or whatever the case may be. Don't make her number one, don't make her a bechari, because she's not.
Yes.
She's a very strong, independent woman. And don't make, if she's free, she's free to,
Precisely.
So that, why can't the social media use that?
It's always the opposite end of the spectrum. It's either she's a poor thing,
Yeah.
or she gets the sympathy, or she's known as something which is, no character.
Easily available.
Easily available, which is not something, again, it's sad, but it's not something that a man is looked after.
No, absolutely.
It's not. Coming to a divorce of, between, of course, the man and the woman, whenever the woman is divorced, the man remains with his rights, financial rights, as is before, after, remains the same. What about the woman's rights as a daughter? What are the woman's rights after she has divorced as a daughter in her parental
So
home?
these are two things. Number one, a daughter's rights are that of inheritance.
Right.
And till such time that she is not married, or maybe she is not working and financially independent, it is a duty, as far as law is concerned, it's a duty of the parents to take care of the child.
Correct.
Once she starts working and she is independent,
Right.
it's no longer responsibility of the parents, number one. Number two, she goes and gets married, and God forbid something goes wrong and she's back.
Correct.
What is the responsibility of the parents? This is a very important question, and this is which I ask a lot of clients. Why all of a sudden does it become the husband's responsibility post-divorce
Absolutely.
in case there is some issue? If the parents are also, coming from a well-to-do family.
Right.
Number one. And number two, what is important is for you to understand is that once the divorce takes place or a separation takes place, either there is a monetary settlement on which you have to do, or as I said, we really have to, start moving and do things on their own.
Absolutely.
Without waiting for, unless there are some, you have a small child, or you have some other difficulty, that's a different thing.
Absolutely.
The law is looking for giving that kind of a equal status to the woman,
Right.
looking at the, standard of life or kind of a status that you came from. So I think unless that awareness is brought about in women, and which possibly has to be brought about in women who are from the privileged class,
Correct.
more than the ones who are otherwise, as I call the haves and the have-nots, more than the otherwise, is an important teaching which her parents and her family is going to give her. And not say that, okay, we are going to have a wedding of 5 crores and 10 crores and do this. This is the most frivolous thing to do.
Right.
There are going to be 5,000 people are going to come and eat. 5,000 people are going to forget about the bride and the groom the next day.
Absolutely.
What have you spent on? Why not keep it for your daughter? You have earmarked, say, 100 rupees for your child's thing. Just spend 40 to 50. Keep the other 50 for her. God forbid there is some kind of a situation. She doesn't have to go to anybody, neither to you guys nor to her in-laws, because that money is kept taken care by you.
Yes.
So that when she comes back, there is something for her to follow.
Absolutely.
Why not look at her dignity more than have the big show of how many people had come, which destination the wedding was there, and how many crores was spent. First, take care of the child, especially the girls,
yes,
whom you are going to get married to. Make a provision for her.
Right.
God willing, nothing happens and she's happy in her house, just gift it to her.
Precisely.
Simple.
Yes. There are times where, as you just mentioned, that it's nice when there's a provision made for a daughter especially.
Yes.
They say that a girl child does not have her own home, especially after she's married. Because this is my in-laws' house, or this is my father's house. There's always this.
So the point here is that you are right, that a girl is at her father's place till such time she gets married.
Right.
Then that is her dad's house.
Correct.
That's not my home.
Right.
Then you get married, then maybe that's in-laws' house or husband's house. Then where is it that we're in my home? So all the more reason.
Right.
Have a home of your own. Have a 1 bedroom, have a 2 bedroom, have a small thing, or have a provision for, you don't have to buy. Correct. Where you would be able to rent it out. Right. In the event that happens, which you can call my space, which you can call my den. Absolutely. Which you can call my home.
Yes.
You're going to lead an example to your children.
Yes.
That what a self-made person my mom is.
Absolutely, yes, that's correct. How do you protect your own emotional space? I mean, we've spoken so much. This is such an emotional subject. How do you protect your own emotional space when you're handling clients who come with something like this, who have, such stories or such realities rather, when they're speaking in front of you? How do you manage that? I mean, it's a high pressure, it's a high mental pressure job.
It is. So initially it was difficult, but I guess over a period of time, the professionalism takes the better of you. You do, without losing the sensitivity of this entire thing, you do look at it in a professional manner, because they have come to you to take a guidance or an advice how to move forward in a legal way.
Right.
So I think I have to do that role also. But as I said, in some cases, lawyers are also a little bit of shrinks and counselors.
Yes.
Because I know sometimes people come to me and I find there's no really reason for them to come to a lawyer for divorce. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. I had a fight last night and I come the next day. So I have to tell them, listen, buddy, just calm down. I don't think, however, you are agitated or angry. Let's meet after a couple of months if you still feel the same thing. I'm here, you are here.
Right.
And maybe we can take it further. Believe you me, in some of the cases, those people have not come back. Because they've just gotten over it and they've gotten back.
Absolutely.
I'm not the one who's going to say, oh my God, this is what happened. Come on, let me send a legal notice. Let me just first come and do all this thing. No.
Right.
So there's always a place and a time for you to advise them how to go legally. Right. There's always an advice that comes from you to the clients to explain to them that wait, give it some more time.
Right.
See how far you can take it. If not, we'll start the process.
Absolutely.
But then at times it becomes difficult to reverse the process. So let's take our time to go about it.
That's correct. It makes more sense, and that is why I think the separation period is so imperative for the couple.
Yes.
You've spoken on TEDx and Her Circle. What message do you wish that all the Indian women could hear from you? Like, what is the message that you would want to kind of pass on to Indian women, especially when it comes to marriages, divorces? What is your message to them?
So my first message is, there is no substitute for being self-made. Right. You have to stand on your own feet, and you have to think that you have to fight this battle on your own.
Absolutely.
The second message that I want to say is, today, and I'm seeing this in a lot of cases, there's nothing about women, but I'm talking generally about men and women. They've lost the art of patience and they've lost the art of understanding each other.
That's right.
Reasons could be many, or reasons could be not so effective also, but there is a understanding which is required. As I said, it's important to be friends with your partner, or at least, if not a friend, it's too big a word, at least somebody with whom you can communicate and talk, which is the most important thing, without compromising your dignity and your self-respect. As a woman, never let a man feel that you're completely dependent on him.
That's true.
Never ever give that kind of an option. Yes, I'm in a way dependent on you for the emotional stability, for the family to be together. But the moment that power equation comes, or the imbalance in that power equation happens, then that becomes I am the aggressor and you are the victim.
Correct.
So we need to ensure that kind of a separation of powers is not so much there.
That's true.
And lastly, and more importantly, that you have to believe in yourself, that if you're happy as a woman, you'll do everything, go out of your way to ensure everything good and positive happens.
Right.
But it doesn't happen. Don't suffer in silence.
Absolutely.
For a long time.
On the flip side, what message do you have for the young professionals in your field who are...
You mean the lawyers who are going to be there? Oh yes, I will. So I have seen there's a new crop of these lawyers who are coming up, and because today, and I'll tell you something, Priya, 20 years back when I started practice in this and I sort of dived deep into this family law, there were A, very few matters,
Right.
B, there were very few lawyers who were there, and there was not so much.
Right.
Today I see a surge of lawyers who are otherwise doing corporate law, who are doing hardcore finance, etc., wanting to do family law.
Oh.
Now, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe they feel they can relate to it or deals with some things which are there. So my advice to the young lawyers who are there, that you have an enormous duty to be able to guide your clients what is there in a right way.
Correct.
Do not ill-advise them because that's going to give you some brownie points with the client.
Right.
Your clients, your career is not based on what one or two matters where you please the client.
Right.
Your career is based on the kind of work that you do sustained over a period of time.
Right.
Thirdly, and more importantly, never ever advise any aggressive steps to the clients unless a situation is otherwise.
Unless
of course,
it
a woman
demands
is beaten up and a woman is
Of course.
sort of things, and those are different cases. But try and be a counselor and try and reason out with them. Every client who comes to you, you have to give them an option of going to a counselor before they come back again to you.
Absolutely.
That's a great way of dealing with these matters. You're going to leave a mark where people are going to respect you for being a good professional, of being a good lawyer who has done the right thing for her client without compromising on the values.
The credibility
It also
adds up.
It adds up.
Yes.
Your integrity, your character,
Absolutely.
everything. And that's what gives you probably name and fame and acknowledgement
Right.
in this field.
Of course. And the longevity, I feel.
Absolutely.
What is behind your strength at the end of the day?
The values. My values given by my father, I came from a very simple background, and he was a teacher, and he was, his values are the integrity, extreme hard work, patience, and true and honest to yourself and to the work that you are doing is all. And this is a long drawn process. It's not going to come. Success is never going to come you overnight.
Absolutely.
But these are the seeds that you have to sow. Only then you'll have a proper thing.
Right.
So these are my values, I think.
Fabulous. It's been so insightful talking to you.
Thank you so much.
So much valuable knowledge.
Thank you so much.
And it's been endearing to hear even the humane side of law.
I know.
Thank you very much for
My
joining
pleasure.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You.